Okay, major trigger warning alert. This is the definition of unhinged. This is what people are saying. This video is proof of it. What people are saying is the problem when it comes to media. It's the problem where people pushing down opinions on us and getting us to think what they think we should think, even if it's in good faith or not. It's kind of skewing how we get the news, which even has created the term fake news. We'll get into this. I just want to put that trigger warning in the beginning. If you get sensitive about politics, this is not the video for you. Let's get into it.
Well, joining me in the studio now to react to this breaking news is Samara Gill, host of Triggered, along with historian and commentator Tessa Dunlop. So Tessa, welcome back. It's complicated, Andrew Tate, because I can't quite get my head around why we have to go through year after year after year of his name and his brother's name and all these lurid allegations, and nothing ever seems to come to the point of a criminal conviction. And in fact, today we hear the news that a whole slew of charges against them have now been dropped from one of the two British police forces taking action against them. What is your view?
My view is I've never heard you give so much space to an individual on your Uncensored programme. Oh, to speak in such an unfettered fashion and not be interrupted. But more specifically...
Well, hang on. Just to be clear, I interviewed him only literally like 10 days ago, and we got into a slanging match about various things, including what I think are his pretty odious views about women's place in society. But he's entitled to have those views, right? The question for me is he a criminal? Because
Andrew Tate platforming himself there, quickly, 2 secs. Andrew platforming himself there as a victim. It is well known that well, it might not be well known, but it should be well known. In 2024, only 3% of the rape cases reported to the British police resulted in a charge, let alone a conviction.
Well, what does that have to do with him?
No, because a lot of what he's being charged for, sex with a minor, sex trafficking, etc., involve the two key witnesses being the accused and the accuser, and it is very, very hard to bring the bar high enough for a criminal case, which incidentally is proof beyond reasonable doubt. You'll remember Prince Andrew and the Virginia Giuffre case was a civil case. In a civil case, it's balance of probabilities. Are you suggesting to me here that we think, the majority of the British public think that Prince Andrew, for example, is entirely innocent simply because it didn't reach the bar of a criminal case?
All we know about Prince Andrew is that it never got tested in a court of law, in a civil court of law, because at the last minute he gave Virginia Giuffre a reported $11–12 million to make that case go away with no admission of liability. So again, as a journalist, I just don't think it's helpful for people to take an extreme view about these things either way.
I agree with you.
We don't actually know for a fact what Andrew's culpability is in relation to any of the accused.
He makes out he's this big victim.
No, I'm talking about Prince. Sorry, just to be clear, I was talking about Prince Andrew, right? We can all have our view of what he did and how he paid this girl loads of money and the tragedy that unfurled when she...
The key there is it's a civil case.
No, I understand.
Most of these cases are civil.
I understand, but I'm making the point. We don't know about his guilt, Prince Andrew. He's resolutely and consistently denied any wrongdoing. All we do know, and people can make their own minds up about what they feel about that, is that he gave her millions of dollars to make that case go away, having said, I'm going to clear my name in court. On Andrew Tate, he's faced this slew of allegations. They're all extremely serious, right? Everyone has probably got a view about Andrew Tate, which skews what they think of him before they even get into these kind of things. You know, he's a very abrasive, bombastic, confrontational character.
And has a voice. None of those alleged, let's call them victims, have a voice. None of them have a platform on the Piers Morgan Uncensored show. And the way in which he makes out it's something against him that the women are anonymous, it's a well-known fact that if you are accused of being a rapist and if you accuse somebody of being a rapist, the victim comes off much worse, which is why female victims or those accused men of raping are granted anonymity. It's not him singled out.
Tessa, I don't disagree with you, right?
And it's so triggering to watch him spew this crap, Piers. Crap.
No, it may be triggering to you.
It is triggering.
But that doesn't mean to say
a magical creature who's a woman.
It doesn't mean to say that the right way to interview him is to convict him before he's been convicted.
No, I'm not convicting
That's really what you want me to do.
No, but
you want me to scream at Andrew Tate and say you are a sex abuser.
I question you platforming him.
But actually, I prefer not to do that.
I question you platforming him.
Do you? Why?
Because I think the balance of probability is, and by the way, Romania is a country I know very well.
Well, I know.
Oh, I wonder why Andrew Tate chose to go and establish his business emporium in Romania.
Well, explain your connection with Romania.
Oh, I've done a PhD on the history. I work over there a lot. I'm married to a Romanian. I know the country inside out. He thought he was on a buy there, an easy wicket. And guess what? He came unstuck. And yes, one of the cases has been sent back. It's under investigation for procedural errors. But a second, much broader case means he's trapped in Romania. Good. That's thanks to Romania's progress. I'm sorry, good. Good because I think it stinks.
Tessa, fine. Good because you hate him. That's
no, I
fine.
don't hate him. I don't.
It sounds like you do.
No, I don't
Which
hate
you're
him.
perfectly entitled to.
I don't hate him, but I just think actually there's clearly whether it's.
Be careful what you say.
Okay, let's just remember what he's under investigation.
I gotta stop it right quick. Anybody watching this video, she says it's clear she doesn't hate him. This is the issue. It's clear you do. But because you're over there and everybody else, including me, is sitting at home watching the Piers Morgan show, we are taking the face value that, oh, this is a person who doesn't, and I'm just saying the obliviously or objectively, if we're trying to be, oh, this is somebody who says they don't hate Andrew Tate and they're just telling us the news, right? So we take that as this is objective, but it's not objective because you can clearly see she doesn't like him, which is fine. The issue is when you take the stance that, no, I'm just looking at the facts objectively. That's why CNN, MSNBC, they do this all the time. It's fine if you just outright say you don't like the person, but you can't then go back and try to claim you're being objective. But guys, I mean, you guys put in the comments, what do you guys think? Do you think she hates him?
Investigation for sex with a minor,
yeah,
money laundering, trafficking. It may well be that he's untouchable, but I'm very glad that Romania's making sure due process is being done.
Let me bring some more in. I mean, look, I remember the very recent case of P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Okay? P. Diddy had an unbelievably huge number of incredibly serious charges. And we know how that played out in the end. This is why, as a journalist, it's not my position to be an activist who has a view about Andrew Tate either way. These are serious charges.
Agreed.
People are making serious allegations. My view is the position to take is to just follow where the facts go. What do you think?
Well, I agree with you, but a lot of people don't have that perspective. We always see the media and the people being judge, jury, and executioner to people before they have been found guilty. And the issue is, and of today's dropping of the charges of the criminal case, is it's going to strengthen Tate's message that it is a witch hunt after him. The public the politicization of the justice system.
No, I agree. And by the way, Tessa, you shake your head.
Yeah, but you platformed the message. We didn't need to hear his message if you hadn't platformed him.
I don't need to interview anybody. But he's the centre of a big breaking news story today about him.
You felt it was your public duty to platform him.
I know, not at all. I think it's interesting to interview Andrew Tate on a day that the criminal charges from one of the two police forces get dropped. I do think that's interesting and significant.
That's big news to most people. It's big news to everybody who's watching this video now, because everybody would want to cover this. Maybe not everybody, but I know a lot of people would want to cover this, especially Piers, who had debates that got a little spicy, a little dicey with Andrew before. It makes complete sense why he would feel this way. She is acting, unfortunately, a little bit unhinged.
Let's clarify why that is, because it's very difficult when you're bringing a rape case to prove it.
We don't have to clarify it.
Sorry,
just to be clear,
majority of rape cases don't end up
putting aside your obvious bias, we don't have to clarify anything because the Crown Prosecution Service said the legal test to bring criminal charges had not been met. They said we undertook a further review of a case filed in relation to allegations of assault and rape between 2013 and 2015. Following careful consideration of the evidence provided by Hertfordshire Constabulary, we concluded that our legal test for prosecution was not met and that no further action should be taken.
And to be clear, Andrew Tate said on your show that the police had no evidence. That was an outright lie. They don't have no evidence. They just didn't meet the evidence.
He's entitled to his view. You're entitled to yours.
And I'm challenging his. As your friend. He proclaimed himself your friend. Is he your friend, by the way?
He's not a friend. He's someone I interview regularly.
You didn't challenge him on that, though, when he called
I've never met Andrew Tate socially in my entire life.
Just to clarify.
He can call me what he likes.
Didn't it bother you that he kept on talking about your sons? He kept on making a parallel between himself and your sons.
No.
Like bracketing himself off with all men. Oh, these poor men who are constantly under attack from women.
I think it's quite enlightening the way you're reacting to this? Because you in your head have clearly already convicted
No,
him.
I haven't convicted him. I want to wait until there's
You don't
due
want to give him any
process
due
done.
process.
I don't want to give him a platform in the meantime. Those women aren't. They're cowering, anonymous.
Okay, hold on. So they could be cowering anonymously. So they've been holding him for 3 years or however long, 2 years. And then it came out yesterday that there wasn't enough factual evidence from the due process that they were trying to conduct that proved that there was any criminal charges based on the case that was presented from the alleged victims. So they dropped it down to civil. And for everybody that doesn't know, a civil case, I can bring up a case against you and I can charge you civilly. That's just how it works. It's just a civil case between two constituents. It's not the government. It's not the police. It's not the state bring up charges. It's, I don't like you. I think you wronged me. And then now we have a judge that listens between the two parties, and then the judge will award. Like Maury, like, Judge Judy, those are civil cases. Though that's civil court. That's what happens. You're just listening to the people, and then the judge decides which one of those two. But it wasn't enough for criminal charges, according to the police. I'm not here to say it did or didn't happen, but if all we have to do is rest on the processes that we have, then enough, they would say that, I guess, for that case, there's nothing there. But clearly, this is a person who has some sort of a voice. She's on Piers Morgan. I've never seen her until now. And clearly, she has something against them. So you can tell the bias in how she's speaking. And I don't know her at all. I don't know her views. I don't know any of that. Hopefully she does well and she prospers. But there's a lot of people that are in these positions that, especially in America, that we trust to give us objective news, but they're spewing their opinions. And so if you claim that that is the news, that's better. But you have entire agencies that don't like the sitting president, X, Y, and Z. So what's going on is they're not giving everybody everything. And the issue with that, and why I'm even speaking on these things now, is because it has actually gotten out of hand, because it has led to some people even losing their life because of what is being spewed. Does that make sense? We're almost done with the video.
Because they know that if they came out, boom,
But what if they are lying?
Well, if they are lying, due process will make sure that Andrew Tate is
So do you
exonerated
accept-
in Florida, in Romania,
Fine.
in Britain.
Well, the American case is there's no further development on that. That's stopped. The case here, though, if they're lying, we don't know yet. Because the civil case, his lawyer says here, the civil case, it will become clear when people hear the evidence. So let's wait and see what the evidence says. But there's no doubt that the police have concluded, after a lengthy investigation, that the evidence that was put forward of a crime has not been met.
That's not unusual in the vast majority of rape cases. Even when they lead to a charge, they don't result in a conviction
All right,
statistic.
Samara.
I think we go down such a dangerous path when we say, let's deplatform someone who, as of today, as of just your interview right now, he has not been convicted of any criminal wrongdoing.
She's cool.
He has not been found guilty, which is the big thing. So why are we treating him as if he has been? I think it really diminishes other cases that get brought forward. We really shouldn't be doing this. It's a very dangerous precedent.
I do think trial by public jury, right, on social media, trial by media, all trial by media actually, but particularly these days where social media can be so toxic and tribal. I've watched immediately the way this development's broken on social media, what people have done. Andrew Tate supporters have immediately rushed to falsely claim he's been cleared of all charges, right? Including Romania, not true. Including everything in the UK, not true. Others have gone the other way, and they've raced to say, this means nothing, he's guilty, he's this, he's that. And I'm sitting there looking at this as a journalist going, why don't we just stick to the facts here? Why don't we wait and see if Andrew Tate actually, along with his brother, actually ever gets into a courtroom in a criminal case and has a chance to defend himself against allegations? Because if that never happens, if, as he says, the Romanian system clogs this down for years and years to come, the accusers, they're not served any good public service by that. He isn't, obviously, either, but nor are the public, right? The public will never be able to work out whether he's guilty or not.
Do you know what's really interesting about this? He kept on making out he was the victim. He even tried to trash Romania, suggesting it was their failed judicial system that meant he's trapped there. Oh, poor Andrew, the victim. This is a reminder of just how difficult it is for every woman who is sexually assaulted
Yes, but
or
you
raped
see, I have
by
a problem.
man. Look at it from the other way around.
I have a problem
Piers.
with that, you see, because Samara, my problem with that statement is not that Tessa statistically isn't correct.
I am
right?
correct.
I know. I'm not saying that. The rate of conviction for rape cases is
Pitiful.
1%. It's outrageous, right? It's shocking. It shouldn't be like that. I totally agree with you. However, I don't believe in looking at other cases when someone is facing serious charges. I believe, Samara, just going, what is this person facing? Where is the evidence? Who's saying what? Has it been properly investigated? Has it reached a court? Is everybody under oath? And so on. That, to me, is what I call due process. It's not just shouting, well, he's got away with it, or he's this, or he's cleared, or he's guilty. It's none of those things.
I mean, I'm really sick of this let's believe all women thing. I think this is an overhang from the Me Too
I don't think we should. We don't need to believe all women. I wasn't
you
suggesting
did
that
just
for a
say-
moment.
Well, by the way, that was a big problem in the Me Too campaign.
Massively.
The big problem came when I heard senior police officers saying it's incumbent to believe all women. No. It's not incumbent to believe any accuser. You listen to an accuser, you take their allegations seriously, and you investigate those allegations. What you do not do as a police officer, but in particular, you do not make a presumption of guilt, which is what they were inferring. If you believe an accuser, you are convicting that person they're accusing before they've had any chance to defend themselves.
Just to be clear, as someone who lumbers under an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement, it is incredibly hard to prove something has happened. What do you want me to do? Catch the fluid, preserve it in a pot after 10 years?
Yeah.
My point is, I'm sorry to be lurid, and that wasn't my case. Didn't involve fluids, just to be clear. But the point is, it is incredibly difficult. The two witnesses are the accused and the accuser, and it comes down against the woman every time.
We've got to leave it there. It's a really interesting debate, right? And he gets everybody going good, bad, and ugly. A lot of it is ugly. A lot of his views about women and their place in society, however he tried to sugarcoat it, I vehemently disagree with, and I've called him out on it many times. But I have always said when I've interviewed him, to be clear, I will follow the evidence and the facts as they're presented in the public domain. I won't listen to social media. I won't have people tell me, you can't do this, you can't do that. If the guy is not being convicted of any crime, which is absolutely the case right now, then he, whether you hate him or like him or even don't care about him, he is entitled to due process.
I don't waste an emotion on him. I just don't like the fact he platformed himself as if he was a victim.
All right.
I don't see him as a victim.
But you don't know he's not a victim.
Here
You
it
might
goes.
think he's got horrible views, but actually, by saying what you've just said, you don't know that. It may be that he is exactly what he's portraying himself as, which is a victim of a vengeful justice system around the world to try and silence him. I don't know.
Or a matrix, as he puts it, as your friend refers to it. A matrix,
Okay,
all
you
against
keep
Andrew
taunting
Tate and
me
other
about
men
him
like
calling
him.
me a friend. I've never met him socially in my life, right? But the reality is, I think it's just better to stick to facts with Tate. And let's see where it takes
So
us.
don't platform again, because he talks rubbish
And if
most
he's
of the time.
convicted of crimes, I will be the first to be as censorious as you would be. I just prefer to do that once people have been convicted of a crime, not because I want them to be
But
guilty.
just remember how difficult it is to bring a criminal conviction
separate
against
issue.
a man.
Separate issue. Anyway, thank you both very much. I
Thank
appreciate
you,
it.
my friend.
Okay, so couple thoughts, and then you guys can get out of here. I mean, it's very hard. It's very hard to listen when she's clearly being emotional, overly emotional. It's very hard to listen. It's very hard to understand what you're saying when you're being overly emotional. Okay? 1, 2. The issue that we're running into is that when you run into these people that are coming into the topics emotionally charged, which is not a problem in and of itself, if you then declare these are my opinions and then you present both sides equally and then share your opinions at the end, that's different. I think a lot of people respect it. But what people don't respect is how she went about it. That's not respectable. It's hard for me to respect that because you're not being fair. It's the same thing that we're seeing in politics today. Every Democrat seems to hate everything the Republican says because they're Republican. A lot of people seem to hate everything that Trump says just because it's Trump. But they're not being factual. They're being emotional. So they're not saying the things that he's saying that's right. They're just talking about all the things that he's doing bad, and everything that he's doing is bad. I mean, the government is going to go into a shutdown, which is almost common, the fear of a shutdown, because of politics, because of certain things between the Democrats and certain things between Republicans, and people are gonna be out of work because of that. I think this goes to show I think the large amount of America actually agrees with me on this, is that I don't care who's right. I don't give a crap who is right. All I care about is that you give me the information for me to choose myself. Don't lead me into the information. Don't lead me into a room with the guy already beat up and bloody talking about, okay, I want you to be one of the judges to this fight. It's not a fair fight. The guy's already beat up. No, put two men in the ring, give them both the equal chance to, train. And then if you want me to be a judge, then make it fair as possible so I can do the best job as possible. In that, you will get people that are going to be biased. In that, you will get people who are going to be overly emotional because of the topics. Again, Andrew Tate, his name, everything that comes with it, what he has said is an emotionally charged topic in and of itself. But as far as criminal cases go, and this goes to anything, I'll close it out with this. We cannot start prosecuting people, or persecuting them rather, just because of their beliefs. And I might have a young audience that watch this. If you're at this end of the video, what I will say to you guys is that this will be good. You don't fight people at your school. You don't fight people at your job. You don't fight people in sports just because you don't agree with what they say. That is a sign of weakness. They already got you. They won. You lost. Because you're going to get suspended. You're going to lose your job. You're going to go to jail. Whatever. You lost. What a winner would do would analyze what they're saying. If it's baseless, if there's no merit to it, they'll keep it pushing. If they have some little inkling left in them, they might try to talk to him on another day. Hey, bro, let me give you some game about blah 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 blah. Rare, but it might happen. But what you don't do is you don't go out and get your friends, get a whole group of you guys, and then you go antagonize that one person. And then you get everybody in the school to believe a lie, or everybody at your job to believe a lie, to bring this one person down just because you don't like who they are. That is a socially flawed way to go about community. I think that produces the most porous social communities that will lead to the economic and the political strife. If you have those type of communities of people that are going to get mobs to silence people just because they don't like what they're saying, in my opinion, you are the weakest of the totem pole of people. You're the weakest of the people. And you should be ashamed. and I think a level of public shame is good. And for this woman, I don't want to public shame her, but if you're going to go up there, you just outright say you don't like Andrew Tate, and then boom, proceed. Or if you get challenged on it, don't then try to go back and say you're being objective, because you're not. You're not looking at the facts. You clearly don't like the guy, and you don't have to like him. Shout out to you for having your own opinions, and shout out to you for sticking up for women. But in this case, if somebody is proven what she brought up, which was clear, which is that it's harder to judge men, according to her statistics. I don't know what statistics she's reading on. I don't know where she's getting this information from, but Piers agreed with it, and it may be true. I've never seen it with my eyes, but according to her, it's harder to convict people or convict these men of these, crimes against women because of some historical fact. That may be true. However, we cannot broadly brush all these claims against the person after the evidence proves that they're not liable for that particular charge. See what I'm saying? So what do you guys think about it? I kind of went off on a rant there, but I had a lot to say. I had a lot to share. I'm not trying to bash the woman because I think she is trying to do the right thing and stand up for women. And I do think that we need to have more men who support women trying to stand up for women. However, if you do it in that way, you're going to lose a lot of support, in particular from the male community, from the men. You're going to lose a lot of support. Maybe she doesn't want her support, whatever. But you do look a little unhinged. You do look a little crazy. But let me know what you guys think. Jesus is the best. It's your boy MoFresh. I'll catch you guys on the next one.